When detectives found Colin Strickland the morning after Mo Wilson's murder, something was different. There were no heated arguments captured on video, no frantic 911 calls reporting a break-in, no neighbors recalling loud fights. Unlike cases marked by violent clashes or creeping obsessions that signal impending doom, this case began as a baffling mystery. This case had none of the typical warning signs. No public outbursts, no rocks thrown through windows, no threatening messages. Strickland's shock appeared genuine as he learned Mo was dead. His reaction, stunned silence, a blank stare, was the first piece of an unsettling puzzle.
Right now it's an open investigation, but it is being investigated as a homicide.
Unlike the dramatic clashes and warning signs in other cases, here they were met with a mystery, one that was just beginning to unravel. The professional cycling world knew them as close friends and occasional training partners. Their relationship had briefly turned romantic months earlier, but both had moved on, at least publicly. They still rode together, sharing their passion for the sport that had brought them together. That May afternoon, just hours before her death, surveillance cameras captured Mo and Colin at a community pool, a favorite local swimming spot. Later, they got dinner. Everything seemed normal. Just two elite athletes sharing training tips and conversation. Mo Wilson was in Austin for a race, focused on her next competition. She was crashing at a friend's house, her mind on training, not trouble. But someone else had a different plan for that night.
This is a relatively compact home. It's pretty easy to have line of sight.
A dark-colored SUV had been circling the neighborhood all day. Cameras on nearby homes captured it passing by. Inside the home, an eerie silence reigned, until 3 explosive gunshots ripped through the night, tearing through with deadly force. By the time her friend Kaitlin Cash returned home, it was already too late.
What happened? I just walked in on her.
It almost looked like she had been the victim of a beating. There was clearly blood in and around her head.
There's a shell casing right here next to my right knee.
There's another one right here.
A young woman full of promise, her future cut short in an instant. But this wasn't random. Nothing was missing. No forced entry. No sign of robbery. The precision of the attack pointed to something far more chilling. This was personal. When detectives arrived, they searched for leads. Then came the surveillance footage, showing the SUV near the scene at the exact time of the murder. But the most important discovery was waiting for them at Colin Strickland's home. Parked in his driveway was a 2012 Jeep Cherokee, the same one seen circling Mo's house. And it didn't belong to him. It belonged to his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Kaitlin Armstrong. Detectives now had a suspect, but when they brought Kaitlin in for questioning, she had an explanation. A simple misunderstanding, she claimed, an unfortunate coincidence. And with no concrete evidence linking her to the crime, police had no choice but to let her walk out the door. Following her release, the digital trail began to mount. Kaitlin Armstrong and Colin Strickland began dating in 2018, forming both a romantic and professional partnership. Friends described their relationship as volatile, with frequent breaks initiated by Strickland to pursue other romantic interests. Mo Wilson had previously dated Colin Strickland during one of his breaks from Armstrong, creating the foundation for what prosecutors would later describe as a deadly love triangle. What drove Kaitlin Armstrong to such extremes? Based on text messages, interviews, and electronic door alerts that recorded each time the friend's door was locked and unlocked, police reconstructed the evening's timeline. Strickland and Mo Wilson met at Deep Eddy's pool. After swimming, they went to dinner. Strickland then dropped Wilson off at her friend's residence, but did not go inside. After their meetup, Strickland messaged Armstrong claiming his phone had died during that period, a claim later disproven by cellular tower records. Investigators discovered Strickland hid his communications with Wilson by saving her number under a fake name. Through their shared iPad, Armstrong accessed his iCloud, allowing her to monitor his messages, emails, and social media. Crucially, Armstrong intercepted Colin's text to Wilson about their planned meetup at Deep Eddy's. This intercepted message prompted her to arm herself. Prosecutors showed Armstrong used the Strava fitness app to track Wilson, who shared her cycling routes with location data publicly visible under the app's default settings. When Kaitlin Armstrong could no longer control the situation from behind a screen, she made sure her biggest threat would never ride again. Neighboring surveillance recorded an SUV like Armstrong's outside the residence less than 60 minutes after Wilson's arrival. Just before 10 p.m., police found Wilson dead in the bathroom from multiple gunshot wounds. Forensic evidence would later connect Armstrong to the scene. With authorities closing in, Armstrong executed her escape plan, selling her Jeep for cash, briefly staying with her sister in New York, then vanishing without a trace. Police obtained an arrest warrant, but Armstrong had already disappeared, triggering an international manhunt. Armstrong would eventually be apprehended 43 days later in Costa Rica, having altered her appearance and using a fraudulent passport. Prosecutors painted a damning picture. Armstrong had become consumed by jealousy, obsessively tracking Mo Wilson's movements, reading Collins's messages, and monitoring their interactions. The evidence was overwhelming. Her Jeep at the crime scene, cell phone data placing her in the area, surveillance showing her circling the house, the gun that fired the shots, a gun she had access to. The jury deliberated for just 2 hours. Guilty, sentenced to 90 years in prison. Sometimes, the most dangerous people aren't the ones throwing punches or shouting threats. Sometimes, they're the ones watching, waiting, planning, and by the time they make their move, it's already too late. If you or someone you know is experiencing stalking, coercion, or relationship violence, don't ignore the warning signs, even if they're silent. Reach out. Stay aware, because some obsessions turn deadly.